Okay, so good morning to all of you. For those of you guys watching the recording later on, we actually started a few minutes ago, and I was just asking the students who are present to tell me what they're learning in 1101 this week. And what it looks like so far, it looks like Mi Lee and Sintichi. Tell me if I'm mispronouncing your name. And maybe one more of you, you guys are working more on very specific logistical type of things, like this is how to write, this is how to format an MLA, this is what plagiarism is. And then others of you, like Natalia, you are actually starting from a bigger picture. You are looking at ideas that are going to help you develop, you're looking at ideas that are going to help you develop you're looking at skills that are going to help you develop your ideas in the upcoming weeks. So I'm glad you're able to share with me what you've done in 1101. Excellent job. I am going to, today what we're going to do is two things. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can just all make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to just kind of understanding how the class works. So yesterday I posted an announcement. It says week 2. I'm sure that all of you guys got it because you're here, and that means that you got the link. You knew when we were going to meet. So here is your assignment for the week. I asked you to read an article, but when I ask you to read an article, I don't want you to rush through it. The goal is not to get just to the end of the article. The goal is to go line by line and think about why the author said what he or she said. Why did he say it here? Why did he not say it there? What does this sentence mean? What does this word mean? What are the main ideas? And tell yourself. I asked you guys to then, because this article was about in how to introduce yourself, I asked you to then think about how you can introduce yourself in a better way. And I asked these questions just to kind of get you to start thinking about yourself. Like, how are you more interesting than somebody else? What stands out about you? And then I want you to think about, like, what is somebody going to ask about me, and go ahead and answer those things. Then I asked you guys to write 2 paragraphs. I want you to write 1 paragraph telling me what the article is about, and then another paragraph where you introduce yourself. So we're going to take a look at this article. You guys with me? A couple of you guys give me a yes or something in the chat.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, before we look at this article, I think that Natalia is going to be able to answer this question really well. And I think T. Kim is also going to be able to answer this question really well, because you guys are, you've told me what you're doing in 1101. I want somebody to tell me not Natalia. Natalia, you don't answer this question because I know you already know. What is the purpose of reading an article like this? Anyone, you can tell me in the chat, you can tell me using your audio. What is the purpose? This is a composition and rhetoric class. Why am I asking you to read an article? Someone's got to tell me. And you don't have to raise your hand. Go ahead, Thomas. Go for it.
So that we may know how to introduce in a good way.
Okay, so we can go ahead. Keep going.
In a good way, in a respectful way.
Okay, so we can learn to introduce ourselves in a good way, in a respectful way. Very good, Thomas. Thank you. So what if this article was about something else? In my 1101 class, we read a movie review of the new Disney movie Encanto. Has anyone seen that movie? Oh, Natalia, you saw it. Thomas, looks like you're planning on seeing it. So Encanto has nothing to do with English 1101, but we read a movie review about it. Last semester, my class read a review written about Black Panther. A semester before that, my class read an article from the New York Times about travel. So what is the purpose of reading? It doesn't matter what the article is about, but what is the purpose of reading? Anyone? Somebody tell me, come on. What's the purpose of reading? In the context of this class. Sometimes we read for pleasure. Sometimes, like, if I just feel like reading a good book, I could read for pleasure. If I need information on how to fix my toilet, then I can read about, an article to give me information, to give me steps on how to do something. I might read a letter from my cousin or an email from my cousin. But what is the purpose of reading in a class like this?
Reading we get information what we want.
Say that again.
We get some information we need.
Okay, so reading will always give you information, right?
Yeah.
In this class, specific to a composition class, what I want you guys to understand is the more you read, the more information you are gathering in your mind, just like she just said, we have a database in our mind. And we use this database of information when we communicate with other people, when we share our ideas, when we want to market ourselves, when we want to market our company, when we want to explain something, when we want to connect with someone. And the more we read, the bigger our database is from where we can pull information. So if your database is larger than other people's, you can write in a more effective manner. And that's one of the small purposes of reading right now for this class. I want you guys, when you write your 1101 essay, I want you to have more to pull from. So let's start with this article. How to introduce yourself so you'll be unforgettable in a good way. Why do you think that the author adds "in a good way" in the title? What's the reason? Don't be afraid to be wrong. Go ahead, Sadiki. Why do you think he adds that?
Yeah, I think it's about like when you have a good introduction of yourself. You are kill more opportunity. Just build some relationship with other people.
Yeah, you're right, for sure, for sure. Sintiche, go ahead.
But I'm thinking in a good way, like in the proper manner, in the more professional way to introduce yourself.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I want to add something. When somebody says that you'll be unforgettable, sometimes we remember people for the wrong reason, right?
Exactly.
Like, oh, that girl, I remember when she was in 5th grade, she used to pick her nose all the time.
Right.
Or that boy, he was such a bully in school. Or, oh yeah, remember that person, she was really mean to me. So a lot of times when someone is unforgettable, it's for bad reasons. So the reason that the author is saying "in a good way" in parentheses is so that we know that these are going to be good ways that people can remember us, not embarrassing things or regretful things. So good job. I'm glad you guys thought about that. Now let's move down to this article. And you can see here that the beginning part, it's bigger. We're not allowed to do that in an academic essay in 1101, but I do want you to realize that this person has done that for a reason. And I think it's just, why do you think, read what it says. Why do you think that this section is just a little bit bigger than the rest of the article? If you can move beyond the boring basics when you're asked, what do you do? You will set, okay, very good, Thomas, because it gives us an idea of what to expect. Excellent, excellent, very good answer. This gives us an idea of what to expect. If you can move beyond the boring basics when you're asked, what do? You will set yourself up for new relationships, opportunities, and revelations. Kind of like what Siddiqui was saying a couple minutes ago too. So I want you to remember this for your essays. When you're writing an essay in 1101, if your essay looks like everyone else's essay, it's not going to be impressive. It's not going to give you new opportunities. It's not going to set yourself apart from the rest of your class. So good job. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, okay. So one of the things I want you guys to, as you're reading this article, I want you to notice here that this whole section seems to be like an introduction. And the reason I'm saying that is that when you're reading this article, the purpose is not only to help you introduce yourself better, the purpose is for you to learn the proper structure of an essay. One of you guys said that. I think, Santicha, you said that in 1101, you're learning about the parts of an essay and how an essay should be organized. So use this as an example. All of this is good background information, but then it goes to number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 ways that we can how to introduce ourselves. There are 8 tips that are being given, and it's very well organized. Does this make sense? Are there any questions so far?
No.
When you are writing an 1101 essay, you are writing an academic essay. And your 1101 professor is going to teach you about MLA formatting. In MLA formatting, you cannot make the font size bigger in certain areas. You cannot number your ideas. This article is not an 1101 academic essay. So I want you to realize that we're reading this to get ideas about other tools for writing, like organizing our ideas. That's a huge one. And I want you to take a look at, why did this author say this over here? Why did she organize it like this? What is the purpose of, these parentheses? How good is the title? What kind of background information is she giving me? Let's take a look at one thing real quick. Let's just take a look at the very beginning. Mingling at a work event inevitably means being asked the question, what do you do? So it could be a meeting, it could be a Christmas party, it could be a company picnic, but people are going to ask you, or it could be a job fair or a conference, and someone's going to ask you, well, what do you do? And after you've been saying this for, years and years and just repeating it, you're just going to have a very basic answer. And so what she's telling us here is that she's kind of getting us to think about ourselves. She's trying to engage us. And when we write an 1101 essay, we also want to start with a hook. I don't know if any of you have studied that yet in 1101, but the job of the hook at the beginning is to help us engage the reader, make the reader want to listen and want to read, actually. I'm not going to go through this whole article with you guys. I just wanted to show you how I don't want you to just read it from beginning to end. I want you to really take your time to examine it. I want you to take the time to go through it and try to understand why certain things are being said the way that they are being said.
Hey, teacher.
Yes, please
Yeah,
ask.
I have a question about the article. I mean, this is on the assignment because you said that we need to summarize the article. And my question is, how do I start to like a process how we can get into the inform? I mean, we have the information how to start summarize, the article.
Very good question. Very good question. Um, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, Siddiqui. But before I answer his question, are there any other questions? Okay, Mealy, very good question. Could you explain the article's thesis? So all of you might not have studied this yet. If you're in my 1101 class, we have not talked about thesis statement, but Mealy is asking me, so I'm going to answer her. A thesis statement is a sentence in your essay that comes at the end of the introductory paragraph that lets the reader know what this essay is going to be about. Now, when you look at real life articles, Mealy, you're not usually going to find like one sentence, like this is the thesis statement. So this is a real life article. The thesis is probably spread throughout the whole beginning here. I would say that here, introducing yourself this way isn't just about standing out in a crowded room or cutting through extraneous jargon and chit chat. And then I would say that this whole area right here is probably the thesis statement. But I think that there are parts of the thesis in other areas over here as well. And I think that if you take the title and turn it into a sentence, a full, complete sentence, like there are 8 ways to introduce yourself so it will be unforgettable, that could also be a thesis statement. Mealy, does that answer your question? While she's giving me an answer, are there any other questions like that about the article itself? And then I'll talk about the assignment for all of you, like Siddiqui was asking me. Latoya, do you want to say something?
Not really, but in 1101 we were Miss Stockledger's class, I believe her name is. We're discussing the thesis and the body paragraphs and the conclusions.
Good.
So in how I was gonna do my 2 paragraphs, I don't know if do we start off with a thesis statement for that for the paragraph, or do you just answer the questions in a paragraph format?
You're talking about for the assignment for this class, Latoya?
Yeah.
Okay, so Latoya and Siddiqui are basically asking me the same question. So let me go ahead and answer it. I am going to share a whiteboard with you guys. I'm going to share a whiteboard with you. You tell me if you can see it. Do you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
Yes.
so Latoya, Siddiqui, all of you, listen very carefully. My assignment for this class right now is not an academic essay.
Okay.
I am not asking you to write an essay. So don't worry about thesis statement. Don't worry about introductory paragraph, hook, conclusion, body paragraphs, main ideas. Don't worry about topic sentences. Do not worry about that. My assignment is a very basic assignment that is asking you to write 2 paragraphs. Let's see. I haven't used this thing in a while. Let's see how to, okay. That's not it. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. So the assignment I have given you is not an academic essay. I'm asking you to write 2 paragraphs. So basically in paragraph 1, I'm asking for a summary. And when you start a summary, I think the best thing to do is to say the article, how to introduce yourself so you'll be unforgettable in a good way. By Kara Kutruzula is about blah, 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 period. She explains blah, blah, blah. She says blah, blah, blah. Then, paragraph 2. What did I ask? Introduce myself. There are 3 very interesting things about myself. The first is blah, blah, blah. The second is blah, blah, blah. The third is blah, blah, blah. But there are lots and lots of ways, many, many different ways to write the second paragraph. Do not try to sound like others. Use what you learned from the article to introduce yourself. So in the article, number 1 says, go beyond your title. Number 2 says, think about the problems that only you can solve. Number 3 says, ask your friends and colleagues for input. So choose one of the tips that the article gives you and focus on that in order to introduce yourself. Latoya, Siddiqui, others, does this make sense?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes, but that makes sense because the thing is, it was like.
Siddiqui, I cannot understand you. I think your mic is covered.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that when you say we don't worry about like the structure or to summarize, because in a summary we need to have like a topic sentence, or a point sentence.
Siddiqui, I'm really sorry. I'm having a hard time understanding you. It sounds like your mic is far from your mouth or something.
Okay, let me. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Hello?
Yes, that's much better.
Yes, I was saying that, like you said, that we don't worry about the structure of our summary, because it was like I was thinking about to do the summary, you need to like write topic sentence, supporting sentence, and conclusion sentence. But in that case, I think it's not necessary to put all those parts when you need to summarize the article or something.
Yes, Siddiqui and anyone else, I'm really sorry if I did not clarify that. There are thousands of different kinds of writing. In 1101, you're going to write academic essays. But an academic essay is a big job. In this class, we are going to do small pieces of different kinds of writing to prepare you for that big job in 1101.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yes,
Mimi is a good question. When we submit the assignment, do we need to use MLA? Let me make sure. Let me see what I said in the. I don't think I specified. If you know what MLA is, then please use MLA. If you don't know what it is, then don't worry about it right now. Just don't worry about it right now if you have not covered it. Uh-oh. You're welcome. Okay. You guys have asked really good questions. I'm going to stop the recording because I don't like when recordings are so long.